The Civil War was just the opening act. When he closes his eyes, a different world opens before him, a peaceful, everyday life in a vast, open land. But this world also holds its share of rough, brutal combat against monstrous dragons that tower over heroes. For 25-year-old Kang Seol, however, reality is far less exciting. His days are spent working a mind-numbing job at a convenience store, ringing up customers for a few dollars. Having grown up in an orphanage with nothing he was particularly good at, this part-time work has become his entire life for years. The usual customers come in, making small talk and teasing him about his co-workers, but he barely registers their words. He doesn't talk much and keeps to himself, simply repeating the same ordinary empty days over and over again. But there's one thing that makes him different every single day. For the last 17 years, he continues to have the same dream. Living a poor life in a small one-room lodging, this recurring dream has become his only refuge. He recalls the very first time it happened, all those years ago when he was just a lonely kid at the orphanage. He finds himself floating amongst the clouds, completely alone in a sea of whitened stars, utterly confused. He questions where he is, staring into a swirling galaxy below him, a cosmic void that feels both terrifying and strangely inviting. And then, a grand castle materializes from the mist, its spires reaching into the cosmos. As if possessed, the young boy is drawn towards the massive, ornate doors, which slowly creak open to reveal the darkness within. A mysterious, disembodied voice welcomes him, inviting him inside. Following a guide in a fox mask, he enters a huge banquet hall where everyone is wearing masks. They all gather around a luminous table as a figure in a plague doctor mask announces it's time to roll the dice. Everyone picks their game piece, and suddenly, a woman in a fox mask points out the newcomer him. He's startled to find himself in an adult's body, wearing a snowman mask. A man in a lightning mask beckons him forward, inviting the new friend to come sit with them. The woman in the fox mask asks what they should call him, and even though he knows it's a dream, it feels incredibly real. He looks at his reflection in the shimmering table and gives the first name that comes to mind, Snowman. The fox mask person smiles, thinking it's a good name. She then tells Mr. Snowman to select the game piece he will personally move. He's shocked. Is he joining the game as well? His mind races, but he has to make a choice. He decides on the Frost attribute with the Magician class, his finger hovering over the glowing selection screen, his heart pounding with a strange excitement. In a flash of blue light, the character has created a powerful mage cloaked in robes and holding a crystal staff. The man in the lightning mask grins, impressed by his boldness for a first-timer. He clenches a fist glowing with red energy and declares the game has started. With a flick of his wrist, he tosses a glowing, multi-sided die onto the table, and the adventure begins. The other masked people seem experienced, enjoying the game as their characters face down a monstrous, reptilian beast. And soon, they reach the game's final stage, a tense and dangerous confrontation in the tall grass. One of the players, a man in a jester's mask, shouts in panic that they'll be annihilated at this rate, urging Snowman to take his turn. Kang Seol, as Snowman, knows what he has to do. He just has to roll the dice and choose his options. His magician game piece raises its staff high, channeling an immense power that gathers at its crystal tip. The staff slams into the ground, unleashing a cataclysmic burst of energy that erupts from the earth. Massive shards of pure, blue ice shoot up from below, a forest of frozen death that traps the enemy. The armored reptilian monster roars in agony as the ice impales it, its fate sealed by Snowman's powerful magic. A player cheers him on, shouting what a great choice that was, clearly impressed by his skill. Even after so many times, seeing magic realized up close like this is still an amazing sight to behold. The Plague Doctor takes his turn now, declaring that the rest is up to him as he prepares to roll the die. With a confident shout, he makes his move. A knight in heavy armor charges forward, sword drawn and ready to strike. The blade slices clean through the beast's neck, a geyser of blood erupting from the fatal wound. The monster's massive body collapses, sending a tremor through the battlefield. They've done it. A notification appears declaring the Pointy Thorn Chieftain has been defeated, and the adventure has ended. The players erupt in cheers. The woman in the fox mask introduces him to the game they just played. World of Eternity, a game with endless options to mix and match. The others laugh, saying it's just the trial version and it's already this fun. The Plague Doctor then invites Snowman to form a party with them tomorrow. He realizes there's no point in thinking too hard, it's just a dream. Who they are and where he is doesn't matter. Because for the first time in his lonely life, it's so incredibly fun. And so, every night from that day on, he enjoyed the world of eternity with these strangers. Back in the real world, no one at the orphanage believed him. They called him crazy for claiming to play games in his dreams every night. The other children started to avoid him, whispering that there must be something wrong with his brain and warning each other not to play with Kang Seol. As a quiet kid who couldn't even adjust to the orphanage, his unbelievable stories only made him an outcast, branded as a liar. But as the years went on, it didn't matter if they believed him or not. His only thought at the end of each day was whether his friends would be waiting for him. Every night, he would return to that other world, a place where he truly belonged, leaving his bleak reality behind. And every night they were there. As he arrives, they greet him with excitement, welcoming Mr. Snowman. They remind him that he promised to play with them today, with one person adding that Snowman said he'd do the last day with them. This is where he's supposed to be. Over 17 years, his curiosity about who these people were had faded. At one point, he had wondered if they were gods or monsters, or even demons, but now it doesn't matter. The other players start arguing, wanting his attention, but the Plague Doctor quiets them down. He announces that today, Mr. Snowman will have a solo adventure, the Great Sage's last adventure. The others are buzzing with excitement. They acknowledge that all his game pieces have been amazing, but none have reached Ascension. They urge him to go straight to the end. Ascension. As its name suggests, it's a climb into the sky, the final adventure of World of Eternity, and the very end of this long game. For the last 17 years, Kang Seol has created many legendary characters, becoming a master of this world. Thanks to his incredible skill, the other players treat Snowman, who had reached the peak, like an idol. He enjoyed this game so much he even memorized the rulebook, but now he feels a tinge of regret. If he'd had more time, he could have made his ultimate 31st game piece the culmination of all the strategies he'd mastered. While he's lost in thought, the Lightning Mask player mentions it's time to reclaim their divinity and get revenge on the insects that put them in this position. Divinity? Insects. Kang Seol overhears their strange words, but he dismisses them as part of the game's lore. He clenches his fist, deciding to focus on the task at hand, his last ascension. Out of the 30 game pieces he's created over the years, only 9 were strong enough to even challenge this final trial. With the die in his hand, he knows that everything is held on this one single roll. His character Milan fails to ascend, falling from the great stairway in the sky as his staff clatters down beside him. He cries out in anguish, consumed by a dark, fiery energy as a new notification appears. Milan has failed to ascend. Again. Another failure. Snowman looks down at the result with a grim expression. A choice appears before him. Give up Milan's adventure, yes or no? He knows ascending to the sky wouldn't be easy for a mere human, but this is his last chance. His finger hovers over the yes button. Even on the last day, after 17 long years, he failed to ascend. The other players console him, telling him not to worry. Just being able to challenge Ascension at all was something only he could do. He turns away from the table. It's unfortunate, but he enjoyed the game. As he walks away, the dream world begins to dissolve. But this time, it's different. A blinding light erupts, and his eyes snap open in the real world. Something is wrong. He finds himself sitting not in his bed, but in that familiar, cloudy expanse from his very first dream. A voice booms through the space, announcing that the main character is here. Kang Seol looks up, his heart pounding in his chest. The masked players from his dream are standing before him, radiating an aura that feels terrifyingly real. They sneer down at him, calling him the insect that had fooled us and acted like a god. His face pales with confusion and fear. What are they talking about? This was just a game. He approaches the golden gateway where they stand, but an invisible force stops him in his tracks. Suddenly, a searing hot collar of golden energy materializes around his neck, shocking him with agonizing pain. He lets out a blood-curdling scream as the power surges through him, his body convulsing uncontrollably. What is this? Why are they suddenly doing this to him? The collar burns as if it's going to melt his neck clean off. One of the gods snarls, "How dare you act coy, you wicked human!" Another declares he must be killed for deceiving them. Wait. Did he just say, deceive the gods? Kang Seol's mind races, struggling to comprehend the impossible. His eyes widen in sheer terror. This can't be happening. The dream is supposed to be over. The man in the lightning mask reaches out, his hand crackling with golden energy, a death sentence in his eyes. He declares, "You die here," his voice echoing with absolute finality. Kang Seol's mind goes blank. Is he going to die like this? But a defiant thought cuts through the panic. I disagree. Suddenly, the crushing pressure on his neck vanishes. He looks up to see the lightning-masked man's wrist being held. A new figure has appeared, a calm, silver-haired man in a stylish coat and a half-mask. The other gods are stunned into silence as this newcomer casually intervenes, telling them they're all a bit too excited. With a calm, almost mocking smile, he tells everyone to calm down first. Kang Seol recognizes him instantly. Kodan? He was always around when they played, one of the more influential figures. For a fleeting moment, he thinks Kodan is here to help him, a sliver of hope in this nightmare. But Kodan's next words shatter that hope completely. He asks, "How can we spill a human's blood in the heavens? It would be like throwing trash away onto your own bed." He then makes a horrifying suggestion. How about returning him to where he was supposed to be? The other gods are outraged, shouting that it's complete nonsense. He needs to pay for his sins. Kodan nods, acknowledging their sentiment. But then he asks if they've forgotten what day it is today. A murmur goes through the crowd. He's right. Today was the day the harvest started. A cruel smile spreads across Kodan's face. He proposes sending Kang Seol back to die like an insect, a sacrifice for madness where the official version has come true. Perfect! The gods erupt in laughter. There's no way they could dirty the heavens with his filthy blood. The lightning-masked god points a finger at Kang Seol, spitting that an insect should be stuck on the land and die like a bug. He will show him the price for treating gods as equals. The terrible truth dawns on Kang Seol. Kodan wasn't trying to save him, he just wanted to make it more painful. Kodan's voice echoes in his mind, cutting straight to the chase. He says there's no time to explain, but his true identity was exposed. The place where he lived has turned into another world. The world merge was scheduled for today. His world will be combined with the world of eternity. Kang Seol can only stare in disbelief, his mind reeling. He asks why, and the answer is chilling. To recover their weakened strength, the gods have chosen madness over divinity. That madness will be used to help them recover their original power, and the chaos of the merge will provide it. Kodan then gives him a mission, reach Ascension, the final adventure that he failed. This will draw attention and gather more madness for the gods. He gives one last warning. If he talks about the events in the heavens, it gives the gods justification to intervene, so he must be careful. Kang Seol screams in protest. How is he supposed to do that when he's not a game piece anymore? He's just a human who has only ever failed. Kodan simply smiles and wishes him luck, hoping to meet him again someday. Before Kang Seol can react, Kodan's hand glows with an ethereal light and reaches toward him. He thrusts his palm forward, and Kang Seol is sent flying backwards, tumbling into the void. The other gods watch as he's casually thrown away, one remarking that it won't matter anyway. Now then, Kodan says to the others, "Shall we harvest some madness, O honorable gods?" He floats down into the burning chaos of the newly merged worlds, ready to begin his grim work. Kang Seol feels himself falling through an endless, dark abyss, his body tumbling out of control. He lands hard on the ground, the impact knocking the wind out of him. He coughs, struggling to breathe. Am I alive? He clutches his chest, relieved to find his body is somehow all right. The realization hits him like a tidal wave. The masked players weren't just dream characters, they were actual gods. He looks around, but it's so dark he can't see anything. He calls out, asking where he is. A system window suddenly appears before him, the text glowing in the darkness. The world of eternity is being applied. 97%. The world of eternity, the game he played in his dreams. His blood runs cold. Don't tell me I'm entering it. The system message updates. The world of eternity is fully applied. Then a new final message appears. Welcome to Pandia, the world of eternity. His nightmare has just become his reality. As he lands on his knees in the darkness, a single thought consumes him. He survived. He thought it might be a possibility that the game and reality were somehow linked. But he can't believe they were actually gods. Not just constructs in his dreams, but divine, terrifying beings. And now he's trapped in their world. He gets to his feet, trying to make sense of the suffocating darkness. He wonders where he is, his voice trembling in the void. A system notification flashes, and he realizes with dawning horror. He's being pulled into the game for real. Another notification confirms his worst fear. A new message appears in the darkness, a chilling welcome to his new, terrifying home. Welcome to Pandia, the world of eternity. A blinding light engulfs him, the force of the transition making him cry out in pain. Everything goes white, then fades into a strange new world. He blinks, his mind reeling as he tries to process what just happened. Is this real? A massive crystalline tower shatters, a beam of light shooting into the sky. He finds himself standing on a cliff, overlooking a vast, breathtaking fantasy landscape, a towering castle looming in the distance. This is no dream. The weight of his new reality hits him like a physical blow. He mutters to himself, the words catching in his throat. I really did enter the world of eternity. Suddenly, a system window pops up right in front of him, displaying some new, horrifying information. His eyes widen in utter disbelief as he reads the number. 7.9 billion? What the hell? A new message follows, confirming the impossible. He isn't alone. He's now standing in a void, the system scroll held tight in his hand. All around him, countless red silhouettes of other people begin to appear, their forms flickering like ghosts. They're all people who got sucked into this world just like him. It means his world, Earth, really did combine with this one. The memory of Kodan's confident, almost mocking smile flashes in his mind. The god had told him this would happen. The world merge was scheduled for today. Kodan wasn't lying. The absolute madman was telling the truth all along. The realization crashes down on him. This isn't a dream. This is reality. Every bit of it. And he remembers the other gods, their words dripping with condescension and disgust. One of them called him an insect, a bug who should die on the land for daring to sneak into the heavens. An insect, huh? His face darkens with a chilling rage. Was it just because he saw the world on equal footing with them? His fist clenches so tight his knuckles turn white. They threw him away the second they found out he was human. Is killing him that obvious to them? He remembers his lonely childhood, closing himself off from the world, and how those masked gods were the only ones he ever opened up to. And they betrayed him. If the only reason for all of this, this betrayal, this pain, was simply because he was human. A furious snarl twists his face, his eyes burning with hatred. Then he's also allowed to be pissed that such trash are considered gods, right? With a newfound cold determination, he reaches for the selection screen. He'll do what he's been the best at for 17 years, and he'll show them he can do it even better. Energy crackles at his fingertips. The time for despair is over. It's time to build a weapon. He knows that in the world of eternity, character creation was the most important thing. Even real life is dictated by the parents you're born with. But the problem now is that this world is combined with reality. Death marks the end. There are no second chances, no creating another character if he fails. That's why he needs a character that can reach ascension no matter what variables come up. When he played other classes, his party was a huge influence. But now, he has to do it all by himself. A solitary path to the top. After careful consideration, he makes his choice. He'll pick Summoner from the Magician classes and Shadow as his attribute. All stats into Wisdom with Cooking and Insight for his talents. And for his nickname, Entai. He reaches out, his finger hovering over the select button. He's gonna reclaim the name they knew him by. The system confirms his choice, Snowman. He feels a surge of power as his new form takes hold, his clothes transforming into a cloak and tunic, a gnarled staff appearing in his hand. Just as he expected, his first adventure is random. He gets a system scroll detailing his first mission, Adventure 1, Moonlit Dance. He reads the description. It's a trial for new adventurers, set in mysterious ruins. His objective is to clear the first gate of the Forgotten Moon ruins. He has 6 minutes. He looks around at the crumbling stone architecture. Yeah, I remember it. It was an adventure designed to help new players adjust to the world, but that's only in name. He recalls the difficulty being absolutely hellish. You had to clear it while letting traps constantly chip away at your health. This place is filled with traps, which is a massive disadvantage for a Shadow Summoner, a slow caster type with no rogue or disarm skills. His stats confirm it. All his points are in wisdom, leaving him physically weak. If he knew this was the first adventure, he might have chosen a different class. He walks through the misty, dilapidated halls, a sigh escaping his lips. He knows this scenery all too well. It feels like he's truly become a piece on their board. When he played the game, it just felt like a rolling stone. But this is nerve-wracking. He approaches the entrance to the ruins. He remembers there was a specific way to open this door. The levers. What was the correct option again? He tries to recall the exact sequence. Suddenly, a system window appears before his eyes. It's giving him the options. He can see them. But can everyone else? It seems his insight talent is giving him a massive hint. He was worried things would be different, but he's glad they haven't changed much. A confident smirk spreads across his face. Then, it's doable. He grabs the left lever. He's played this game for over 17 years. He has to pull the left lever first, then the right one. His grip tightens. When it comes to picking the right option, he's the best at it. Even if he can't fully remember every single detail when there are too many choices, this is still the thing he's most confident in. With a final pull, the massive stone door groans and slowly grinds open, revealing a dark corridor beyond. He peers into the gloom. Just as he remembers it, this is it. He takes a cautious step forward, the floor covered in patterned tiles. This is the first trial. A system message materializes before him, listing a sequence of steps. It's a puzzle he knows all too well. He nods to himself. All right, I remember it. This is the first gate of the Forgotten Moon ruins. He has to step on the patterned tiles in a very specific order to proceed safely. But if he steps on the wrong one, he knows exactly what will happen. A deadly trap will activate. The corridor is lined with them, ready to punish any mistake. And this is no longer a game, it's reality. One wrong move, and he could actually die here. But he's played through this world with most of the talents already. Because of that, he knows all the hidden options, the secret paths. The important thing isn't the class or the stats, it's his memory. He recalls there being a password in front of the first gate, a riddle inscribed above the door. Normally you'd need archaeology or theology talents to read the ancient text. But it's fine. He already remembers the main points of the riddle, the key to solving this puzzle. The ferocious lion does not yield, and the docile sheep chooses to be last. The benevolent moon embraces them, while the jealous wolf chases the lion. It sounded difficult, but it was just a play on words. According to his memory, the pattern was lion, wolf, moon, sheep, then repeat. A confident look settles on his face. It isn't difficult at all. As long as he keeps to the sequence, he won't get hurt. He studies the tiles, mapping out his path. Lion, wolf, moon, sheep. It's all coming back to him. His expression becomes grimly determined. Here I go. He takes the first step, his boot landing firmly on the lion tile. Then the next, and the next, moving with a practiced, steady rhythm across the treacherous floor. He successfully navigates the first section, a small smile playing on his lips. All right, the tiles behind him flash with a faint light, confirming he's on the right path. He moves with an unnatural speed and grace, his cloak flowing behind him. Each step is precise, his staff held ready as he dances through the puzzle. With a final, firm step, he reaches the other side, completely unscathed. He glances back at the path he just crossed, a smirk on his face. That was easy. A system window appears, notifying him he's cleared the first gate. Reward, huh? But if he stops here, his rewards won't improve. He looks down the next dark, foreboding corridor. No, I'll continue. He knows the lesson of this place. Know your place. If you get greedy for better rewards, you could easily die in vain. He leans against the wall, a shadow crossing his face. But that won't be a problem for me. He stares into the next blood-soaked hallway, filled with even more vicious traps. I know everything about this adventure. I won't make any mistakes. As he steps forward, torches on the walls ignite, bathing the narrow passage in a flickering, ominous light. This is the second gate, the true essence of the Forgotten Moon ruins. There are no tricks here, you just have to force your way through. He stops dead in his tracks. Wait, was this place always this long? Something feels wrong. And since he doesn't have another talent, he can't use any hidden options. He could avoid the traps with mechanical engineering or disarm trap, but he has neither. His eyes narrow. He has to rely solely on his memory now. He sees a reflection of himself, a memory of a time he was trapped, helpless. That won't happen again. He instinctively touches his neck. The injury the lightning masked god gave him, it left a faint black line, a permanent mark. A surge of pure rage boils within him. All of you. You'll see me again, no matter what, I swear it. He takes a determined step forward onto a red-colored tile. He steels himself. Who knows, maybe the sequence I remember still applies. He proceeds cautiously up the colored stairs, his staff held at the ready. But as he takes another step onto a second red tile, a tripwire snaps and a hidden mechanism triggers in the wall. An arrow shoots out with blinding speed, aimed right at him. He barely has time to react, throwing himself to the side as the arrow sinks into the wall where his head just was. He lets out a strangled cry, the close call sending a shiver down his spine. He stumbles back against the wall, his body trembling from the adrenaline. Another trap activates, a puff of smoke erupting from a small hole. He lets out a frustrated laugh, his eyes wild with a mix of fear and anger. Now then. Suddenly, system messages pop up, the disembodied voices of the gods or perhaps other players taunting him. They declare his suffering is fun. They mock him, asking how he's supposed to clear this, telling him to just go back. He ignores them, stepping onto another tile, but this one shoots out an arrow too, grazing his arm. He grunts in pain, teeth gritted. Those vicious bastards! Was 4 red tiles the answer? He looks at the path ahead, seeing the glowing blue tiles. Every time he gets hit, the pain feels like it's going to make him pass out. The pattern is black, blue, and red again. Since red has been the answer so far, he has to keep trying. He takes a hesitant step towards the blue tile, hoping it's the right choice. But too bad, blue was not the answer. More traps trigger, the walls themselves seeming to attack him. He grits his teeth, his face a mask of grim determination. If he makes even the slightest mistake here, he'll be squashed against the ceiling. The stakes are absolute. More taunts appear, mocking his tricky situation. They tell him he's screwed, that he'll get crushed if he doesn't move quickly. But then, something clicks. He starts moving, not with caution, but with incredible speed, sprinting down the hallway. The viewers are shocked. Excuse me? Hello? No way. Did he figure it out? He smirks as he effortlessly dodges the traps. Mission complete. He's reached the end of the corridor. The system messages are filled with confusion. What the hell? How did you do it? He turns, a knowing look on his face. To my knowledge, the correct tile repeats every 5th tile. After figuring out the sequence of the first 5, it's trivial to overcome this trap. He bursts through the exit, leaving the confused gods behind. He lets out a sigh, complaining about the lazy, repeating pattern of the trap. A system window appears, congratulating him. He's broken through the second gate. His rewards have been upgraded from a silver chest to a gold one. He can choose to take his reward and finish here. But he just scoffs at the idea. He clenches his fist, his resolve hardening. I can't just stop here. He ignores the golden chest, dragging it behind him as he presses forward, the viewers calling him a crazy masochist. He stops, his gaze fixed on the final imposing door. He knows what lies beyond this door. The Moon's Plaza. Ancient runes glow with a soft blue light. The inscriptions are warnings. Don't be conceited. Know your place. Be humble. He knows that Time's bastard times will probably be there. A final choice appears. Prove himself by ignoring the warnings and entering, or know his place and turn back. He remembers how he used to be, but he places his hand on the door, a faint glow emanating from it. He has not once chosen option 2. The massive stone doors grind open, revealing a vast, empty plaza bathed in ethereal light. He steps through, alone in the silent grand hall. His eyes narrow. He senses something. A figure is kneeling in the center of the room, a massive greatsword resting on the ground beside them. A system message appears. An interesting individual has appeared. The figure rises, clad in magnificent, battle-scarred plate armor. Its helmet turns, and 2 glowing blue eyes fixate on him with an otherworldly intensity. A cold, metallic voice echoes through the plaza. How arrogant! You dare to step foot in this place! The knight raises its massive sword with impossible speed, the blade glowing with a chilling blue light. I shall cut you down where you stand, the armored figure declares, its voice devoid of any emotion. But Kang Seol doesn't flinch. Instead, a wry, almost nostalgic smile curls his lips. It's been a while. Karuna, the Moonlight Knight. A brilliant, blinding explosion of blue energy erupts from the night, promising a legendary battle. Meanwhile, the gods watching from their celestial seats are already losing their minds. One slams his hand down, shouting, "Damn it, I can't do this!" They complain in disbelief. How is he supposed to catch this guy? Isn't this supposed to be a tutorial? This was meant to be fun. Karuna stands ready, her blade humming with power. The system explains that there is a safe zone to avoid her attacks, a small glowing area on the plaza floor. But Kang Seol knows the truth. That's a lie. He remembers this fight all too well. This place is infamous, a death trap for the overconfident. Karuna's attack pattern is an instant kill, a deadly moonlight slash that claimed countless lives in the early days of the game. It is impossible to reach the safe zone in time. Suddenly, a scroll of instructions appears before Kang Seol. He smirks, he knows this text by heart. It outlines the path to victory. Before him, a series of tiles appear on the floor, each with a different symbol. A black sheep, a black wolf, a black moon. These tiles are the only way through. They are the very same tiles he's encountered on his journey here, arranged in a familiar, deadly pattern around the central platform. The key is the order and color of the tiles, a crucial element for the strategy known as the Moonlit Dance. It's the same sequence as the trap he just beat. This pattern, lion, wolf, moon, sheep, continues until you leave the Forgotten Moon Temple, a simple, repeating sequence that he has already mastered. Karuna lunges forward, her blade a blur of blue energy, slicing through the air with terrifying speed and precision. But Kang Seol is already moving, his eyes locked on the floor. He plants his staff firmly, declaring, "The first tile is the Red Lion tile." As he steps on it, the tile glows, and a wave of energy pulses through the ground. A visible change occurs in Karuna's movements. She's slowing down. The effect is immediate and undeniable. The seemingly invincible knight is now vulnerable. He knows the effects of the red tiles can only stack up to 3 times, but for now, this is enough. He moves to his next target. Next is the black sheep, he yells, leaping onto the corresponding tile as Karuna swings wildly at him. Upon activating the black tile, a fiery projectile materializes out of thin air and slams directly into Karuna's helmet. The system explains the mechanic. Black tiles activate mechanisms that deal direct damage to Karuna. It seems straightforward, but there's a catch. However, using a black tile strengthens the moonlight that envelops Karuna, making her even more dangerous. The only way to weaken it again is to step on another red tile. Kang Seol knows all of this. He explains his strategy aloud. "That's why I weakened the barrier by stepping on the red tiles first." But even with his perfect knowledge, he realizes it won't be a one-hit knockout. Karuna recovers, turning to face him. You are quite skilled, Invader." She shifts her weight, adopting a 1-foot stance. A cold grin spreads across Kang Seol's face. He recognizes this immediately. That's Karuna's instant kill pattern, the Moonlight Slash, he says to himself, his mind already 3 steps ahead of the knight's attack. Karuna unleashes the attack, a massive horizontal wave of pure moonlight energy that engulfs the entire plaza, a move designed to obliterate everything in its path. A wave of energy that would vaporize any normal player. In that case, he thinks, a plan already in motion. The entire arena is consumed by the devastating blast, leaving nothing but cracked stone in its wake. There seems to be no escape, but as the light fades, Kang Seol is still standing, completely unharmed. A system message pops up, questioning how he's still alive. He explains, "I can survive by having the moonlight envelop me too, by stepping on the blue tile." The gods are in absolute disbelief. More messages flood the screen. This is the first player to reach the final door. We're looking at the front lines of mankind right now. Karuna, shocked that her ultimate attack failed, can only stutter out a word, "Judge." But Kang Seol is already moving again. He leaps onto another red tile to reduce the moonlight once more, restarting his strategic assault on the legendary knight. The Moonlight Knight screams in frustration, the word "dot meant" echoing through the plaza as her power wanes under the tile's influence. Kang Seol just watches with a cold, calculating look. Everything is going exactly according to his plan. The knight doesn't stand a chance. Elsewhere, the gods are in a heated discussion. Do what? One asks, confused. The other clarifies he's talking about the moonlit dance strategy. The lightning masked god explains that they were shocked when they first discovered that stepping on the red tiles 3 times slows Karuna down completely. Because of this, the meta strategy became one of perfect avoidance. No one ever tried to actually times defeat times Karuna. The first god agrees, adding that the damage from the black tile is insignificant and it triggers her instant kill pattern. It's just too dangerous. But Kang Seol doesn't care about the safe strategy. A fiery blast from another black tile slams into Karuna, sending her reeling. He lands nimbly, preparing his next move. The fight is far from over. He's chipping away at her piece by piece. Karuna stumbles back, wounded and enraged. She clutches her chest, gasping, "Do not sully the moonlight!" Before charging again, Kang Seol doesn't hesitate. He dashes across the battlefield, his voice a sharp command. Red tile, red tile. He needs to stack the debuff. Karuna snarls, "Wicked," as he makes a beeline for the final target in his sequence, the black tile. He activates it, and a volley of magical bolts strikes Karuna head on. It's almost over. He can feel victory within his grasp. As the bolts connect, a shadowy specter of Karuna appears beside Kang Seol, as if her very essence is being torn apart by his relentless assault. But the fight isn't over yet. The system explains Karuna's passive ability. As she takes damage, her dexterity increases every 5 seconds. She's getting faster. If Karuna only had Moonlight Slash, she wouldn't have been as infamous, Kang Seol recalls, bracing himself for what's next. The night suddenly vanishes, reappearing in a blur. This is New Moon Step, another one of Karuna's patterns. It's incredibly fast. But Kang Seol is ready. A golden aura begins to envelop him. He looks at the faltering night and declares, "Let's end this." Karuna gathers her remaining energy, her voice a desperate plea. "Be humbled," as a black orb of energy forms in her hand. This is it. Karuna's last pattern, the Moonlight Slash, will return one more time, stronger than ever before. Kang Seol knows the stakes. If he gets hit even once by this final desperate attack, he'll be burned away by the moonlight. But instead of fear, he simply lets out a quiet laugh. The stars seem to align as he prepares for the final clash. The two warriors charge at each other, one a blur of blue light, the other a beacon of golden resolve, meeting in the center of the plaza. He steps on a tile at the last possible second, a brilliant flash of light filling the entire screen as the two attacks collide. Karuna screams, "My master, you will!" as his attack overpowers her own. There's a moment of shock in her glowing eyes. A blinding explosion of light erupts from her chest as Kang Seol's final strike finds its mark, piercing through her armor and her very soul. The impact is devastating. Her greatsword shatters and her armor flies off in pieces, the moonlight energy within her finally extinguished. Kang Seol stands over his defeated opponent, her body smoking on the cold stone floor. The great knight has fallen. He lets out a breath of relief. A system window confirms it. He has cleared the last encounter of the Forgotten Moon ruins. The rewards are immense. Karuna was defeated, his gem chest has been upgraded to a moon chest, and he's earned the title, the one who brought down the moon. The god with the lightning mask is stunned. Why would he go through all that trouble to defeat Karuna instead of just avoiding her? Kang Seol thinks to himself that just evading isn't the best move. This method was correct, and soon they will all understand the reason. He stands over Karuna's fallen body, his hand outstretched. A dark smile plays on his lips. There is a reason I needed to defeat Karuna here. A system window appears. You used Shadow Summon. Dark, shadowy tendrils erupt from the ground, enveloping Karuna's corpse, pulling her into the abyss. The process begins, but a notification pops up. Karuna's shadow has failed to copy Moonlight Slash. A crucial skill is lost. But he's not discouraged. The system notes that while his Shadow Summon skill is low ranked, his high wisdom stat is supplementing it. It's not a perfect copy. The summon will only maintain 20% of its original strength. Still, it's more than enough for now. The shadows recede, and from them rises a new figure. Karuna, reborn as his loyal shadow soldier. Kang Seol's own form changes, his ears becoming pointed like an elf's, his eyes glowing with a purple hue as the summoning magic settles. The system chat explodes with donations and confusion. Why is Snowman black now? Did someone steal him? The viewers are going wild. Kang Seol looks at his new summon, the reborn Karuna standing before him, silent and obedient. He gives a nod of approval. Not bad at all. He got a little lucky, he admits. Even though the stats are decreased, he still obtained a heroic rank summon. With this, his survival is practically guaranteed. He approaches the glowing treasure chest, the ultimate reward for his victory. Just defeating the enemy and taking their skills is the core of summoning. Let's check the rewards, he says, opening the moon chest. A brilliant light explodes from within, showering him with power. The loot is incredible. Multiple level ups, a skill point, a moonlight sword, a full moon staff, gold, and potions. His status window updates instantly. He now bears the title, the one who brought down the moon. And he reflects on the game's mechanics. For every level up, you gain 4 unallocated stats and 4 fixed stats. The fixed stats are determined by his class, a Shadow Summoner. Without hesitation, he decides to invest all his unallocated points into Wisdom. This boosts his Wisdom stat significantly. Now, for the other rewards. The fixed item drop for defeating Karuna is the Moonlight Sword. He examines the rare ranked blade. It's the very sword Karuna used. He has an idea. The summon of a Shadow Summoner can equip items. He immediately equips the Moonlight Sword onto his new Karuna summon. It's a bit expensive to maintain, but it's a worthy investment for the future. On top of that, he got a staff, the perfect weapon to boost the Wisdom stat he needs most. The viewers question his choice, calling Wisdom useless. But they don't understand. The Full Moon Staff grants plus 10 Wisdom, a stat considered a dump by most. But for a Shadow Summoner, it is everything. And his new title, the one who brought down the moon, grants a 5% increase to moon attribute damage, which applies to his summons as well. He's checked everything. He stands ready with his new summon by his side, fully equipped and more powerful than ever. It's good enough for now. A pillar of light descends from the sky. A system window announces the start of his next adventure, as the moon hangs high in the night sky. He is teleported away in a flash of brilliant, crackling energy, leaving the empty plaza behind him for a new, unknown challenge. The energy transports him through a void of purple and black, hurtling him toward his next destination in the world of eternity. A new adventure begins. The 5 Good Brothers. In the world of eternity, a terrible troll tribe lives in the southern Pointy Mountains. The objective is clear and brutal. Weaken the Rock Molar tribe by killing one or more of its leaders. Use any method necessary. And the stakes are absolute. He will die upon failing to achieve the objective. A timer appears. 20 hours and 47 minutes remain. He materializes in a lush green field under a bright noon sun. He calculates that he might be able to reach a safe zone by morning. Usually, players are given 1 rest after every 2 adventures. But his mind is on the current mission, the 5 Brothers. He knows this adventure is different from what he remembers. With 5 targets, there's a lot of randomness involved. The terrain is steep and guarded. He looks around, a deep sense of unease settling in. So, he mutters, scanning the empty landscape with a frown. This is an adventure designed for a 5-man party, because of that difficulty. But why isn't there anyone else here? The timer continues to tick down, a constant reminder of the looming deadline. His eyes narrow as he realizes the horrifying truth. A red alert flashes in his vision. A party status window appears, showing his name, Snowman. Status, normal, but the others. Party member 1, dead. Party member 2, dead. Party member 3, dead. All of them are gone. He is completely, utterly alone. He finds himself looking down at a small village nestled in a valley, smoke rising from its huts. This must be the Rock Molar tribe's territory. A tattered green flag flutters in the wind. He recognizes it immediately. That green flag only goes up on one particular occasion. It's for the Harvest Festival, a time when they wish for the blessing of the Earth Dragon, Tancred. The entire tribe should be gathered here. He creeps closer, hiding behind a wooden structure. He sees the orcs milling about, but despite the festival, something feels terribly wrong. Then he sees it, a body discarded and bloody, just lying in the dirt, and beyond it, an absolutely gruesome sight. The mutilated bodies of his former party members are impaled on sharpened stakes, a bloody warning to any intruders. They were all killed in battle. Judging by their clothes, he can identify them. 1 priest, 2 vanguards, and a single archer. A well-balanced team, now nothing but corpses. It was a good combo, he thinks grimly. They could have survived. They could have cleared this if they had only known the proper strategy. He shakes his head, gripping his staff. There's no point crying over spilt milk. Since he's alone, he has no choice but to find the best strategy for this situation. His options are limited. At this rate, he might have to use that method, a risky gambit he was hoping to avoid. A system window appears, giving him his choices: attack the residences, wait for nightfall, or explore the surroundings for information. He knows that the actions of a game piece, a player like him, can affect the entire world view and be recorded in the history of eternity. His choice matters. He immediately dismisses the first option. A frontal assault is suicide, and waiting for nightfall is pointless when he's alone. A surprise attack needs a team, so by process of elimination, that leaves only one path forward. Option 3. Explore the surroundings in order to acquire information. Out of all the things that could provide him with information, the one he needs to find is a particular individual, the exile of the Rock Molar tribe. He knows the layout of the area. The Pointy Mountains have 5 peaks, each marked with a different flag. The exiles are located on the highest peak, but the other peaks are occupied by other beings, and the setup of this adventure plays a crucial role. This is where he needs to start. He begins his search on the lowest peak. Somewhere here, a being lives in hiding after being exiled from the main tribe. They should definitely be here somewhere, he thinks, his staff's orb glowing faintly as he scans the dense forest around him. Suddenly, a sharp ringing sound cuts through the silence. He's tripped an alarm. 2 large, rustic bells clang together. A thick, dark smoke erupts from the ground, obscuring his vision. The trap was sprung, but it also confirms his theory. These bells are probably used as an alarm, he deduces, which means they're definitely in this area. Peeking from behind a tree, he spots a figure in the distance. It's a human, it seems, he whispers to himself, surprised. A voice calls out from the woods, shaky and afraid. Who are you? As leaves rustle and a figure steps out from the shadows. Don't come here, the voice pleads. Kang Seol steps forward calmly, raising his hands. I'm not dangerous. The figure recoils, revealing a gnarled, sickly-looking hand. But you're still a human, the orc hisses, his fear palpable. So this is where he was hiding. The exiled orc is terrified, immediately accusing him. Lies! You've been sent by the Rock Molar tribe. What are you going to do to me? A new set of options appears. Threaten, persuade, or mention that something is wrong with them. He knows what he has to do. Why do you want me to stay away? Kang Seol asks gently, taking a step closer. Is there something wrong? The orc panics, backing away. Don't come near me. Get away from me. He is desperate to keep his distance. Kang Seol just stares, his staff's light illuminating the tense scene. He waits for the right moment to press his advantage. Then he asks the question he already knows the answer to, the one designed to break through the orc's fear. Are you hurt? I have to get the response I want, he thinks to himself, taking another deliberate step forward, closing the distance between them. The orc holds up his hand, revealing grotesque wounds and lesions covering his skin. Do you see? These are all wounds I've received from a disease. He continues, his voice cracking with despair. It's an infectious disease. It'll be in your best interest to step away from me. His shoulders slump in misery. Don't make me any more miserable, he begs, his entire body trembling with sickness and fear. The system updates. The Abandoned One has an infectious disease. Kang Seol states his purpose clearly. I want to know more about your story from you. That's why I've come here. The orc is stunned, but Kang Seol continues. Which story do you want to hear? Kang Seol looks him dead in the eye and replies, all of them. If it's something you can tell me, then anything. But Kang Seol's gaze is unwavering as he looks down at the defeated figure. All of them, he declares. If it's something you can tell me, then anything. A system notification confirms his strategy worked. The Abandoned One has lowered his guard. The orc relents. It's better to tell you inside. He turns his back, a silent invitation. If there's something you want to hear from me, then follow me. The two of them arrive at a simple, rustic hut hidden deep within the woods, the only home this outcast has ever known. Inside, Kang Seol is surprised to find stacks of books. Is it weird? The orc asks. Not really, Kang Seol replies, his curiosity piqued. The orc offers him some medicinal tea, but Kang Seol cuts right to the point. He wants to hear the story first. The orc, now identified as male, stammers for a moment before agreeing. In that case, can I tell you a bit about myself? He begins his tale, a story steeped in tragedy. In the past, a contagious disease descended from the mountains, ravaging his people. A generation later, the disease returned with a vengeance, this time striking down the strongest trolls who had endured so much hardship. To stop the plague, the ancestors of the Rockmolar tribe created a single brutal rule: exile. All those who were sick were to be banished, cast out from the tribe and village to die alone in the wilderness. So, are you an exile? Kang Seol asks, putting the pieces together, but Mael shakes his head. No! His eyes cloud over with a painful memory. The one who was exiled was my mother, he reveals, a vision of her lone, departing figure flashing in his mind. He looks down at his own diseased hands. The ancestors may have been correct, since a child who carried the disease was born. His mother's resentment was absolute. She resented the tribe to her dying breath, that all of them should just disappear. Kang Seol listens intently, his expression unreadable in the dim light. What should disappear? He asks, pressing for the full story. The Rockmolar tribe, Mael growls, his voice thick with inherited hatred, the endemic. He clenches his fists, his face a mask of pure despair. And myself. The weight of his mother's curse hangs heavy in the air. Kang Seol finally asks the crucial question: is the disease incurable? Mael explains that the books were for his research into the plague. And after all his work, he has a sliver of hope. It's not an incurable disease, he says, a faint, desperate smile on his face. He just needs one more ingredient that he's been unable to find, something called the corpse finger mushroom, which is supposed to exist on this very mountain. You're unable to find it, Kang Seol states, already knowing there's a catch. And Mael reveals the cruel irony of his situation. My bones are the problem, he explains, his voice cracking. The disease has progressed so far that he's too weak to even search the cliffs. Kang Seol sees his opening. In that case, he begins, his voice calm and deliberate. Could I find it for you? Mael is completely floored by the offer. Pardon? He stammers, unable to believe what he's hearing. What would you gain from it? A knowing smirk plays on Kang Seol's lips. Everything is falling into place, just as he calculated it would. His mind races, seeing the path forward laid out before him. The tribe, the trolls, the guide, everything is connected. He thinks to himself, I can rise up from this adventure, no matter what has been set up, I can save this troll. He looks at the stunned orc and says coolly, let's just call it a trivial transaction. The deal is struck. Leaving the hut behind, Kang Seol wastes no time, heading out into the wilderness with a renewed sense of purpose. He takes a deep breath, steeling himself for what's to come. This quest is more than just a simple favor. Back in the hut, Mael makes his solemn vow. If, he starts, his voice trembling with a desperate hope he hasn't felt in years. If you really happen to get us that mushroom, then we'll help you with anything. He bows his head, a promise of absolute loyalty. Kang Seol already knows the value of this promise. The Forsaken One side quest is special because it adds a powerful NPC to his piece. This helper is one of the highest ranking ones. He remembers a crucial asset he cannot afford to lose. Every second matters in this adventure, but he knows the time invested in this quest isn't a waste. He must succeed. He finally arrives at a barren cliffside, but as the sun begins to set, a sudden dread washes over him. There's nothing here. The rocky expanse is completely empty. Has he made a terrible mistake? The system seems to mock him. He stands on the edge of the cliff, a sense of failure creeping in. This is exactly what happened before. He closes his eyes and activates his perception. The memories come flooding back, sharp and painful. A new menu appears. The mushroom isn't here. He has a choice: wait, search, or return and admit defeat. He sinks to his knees, not in despair, but in thought. The system commentators believe he's given up, that he's done for, but they don't know what he knows. I remember it now after coming here, he thinks, his eyes hardening with resolve. He's remembering the first piece he ever created, a memory from 13 years ago, from another life. Back then, he was just a child, a novice player overjoyed at discovering this very same side quest on this very cliff. He was so eager, so full of passion, pointing forward with the naive confidence of a kid playing a game. But his passion was all he had. Every day, he gave it his absolute best, pouring all his energy into this single character. However, in those times, he was simply inexperienced. He had no real control over his piece, no understanding of the game's deeper mechanics. And his inexperience led to disaster. The cause of death for his first piece was a simple loss of footing while looking for the mushroom. He died right here, all because he rushed. He had searched for the mushroom with the wrong class, a caster, dooming it from the start. His hands gripped the console, a phantom memory of the frustration and helplessness he felt as a child. He had made the wrong decision, a single mistake that cost him everything. Because of that, his piece had died. The adventure of that piece just ended right there. The shock of that moment never truly left him. Even now, after so much time has passed, it remains a painful memory. But this time will be different. Well, it looks like I'll be able to gain something now, thanks to that, he thinks, watching the sun dip below the horizon. It should be about time. A faint rumbling sound catches his attention. What's that noise? He turns, his senses on high alert. The ground trembles beneath him, and the rocks on the cliff face begin to shift and crack open. Something is emerging. From the depths of the stone, a strange flower-like object sprouts, its petals unfurling in the twilight. He understands now. Since that day, I researched a lot about the Forsaken One quest, he recalls, his lips curling into a smile. The mission item, the Corpse Finger Mushroom, has a unique trait. It only appears in the darkening hours when the twilight sets. Now that his prize is in sight, he prepares to claim it. He grips his staff, a dark energy beginning to swirl around him. The air crackles with power as shadowy tendrils erupt from his back, twisting and writhing like living things. He summons his power. Shadow Hand. Two massive, clawed hands of pure darkness manifest behind him, ready to obey his command. This is a basic Shadow Summoner ability, simple but incredibly useful for a situation just like this. But it's his first time using it, and the raw power is difficult to control. Will this work? He wonders, sweat beading on his forehead. The shadow hands writhe erratically. The system commentators are certain he can't control it. It's like trying to control a tail that just sprouted out of nowhere. He grunts with effort, the tendrils scraping against the rock. Let's concentrate and do it in one go, he decides, focusing his will. He carefully places the shadow hand over the mushroom, preparing to grab it with just the right amount of strength. As gently as if he were grabbing an egg, the shadow claws close around the delicate plant. And pull! With a surge of force, he yanks the mushroom free from the stone, the shadow tendrils recoiling with their prize. He stares at the perfectly preserved mushroom in the shadow's grasp. It worked. He actually did it. Just then, a brilliant flash of light bursts from a nearby dead tree, catching his eye. Light? Didn't something shine just now? His perception activates again and a new message appears. A hidden adventure, Masterless Pocket Watch, has been activated. Looking closely, he sees it a small watch hanging at the end of a branch. If it hadn't shined, he would have missed it completely. The commentators are shocked. He's taking that too? What a greedy newbie. But Kang Seol knows this is no mere coincidence. He directs the still active shadow hand towards the new prize. There's no information about this watch, but his instincts scream that it's important. The shadow claws gently pluck the watch from the branch, its chain dangling from its grasp. He has secured another treasure. Back at his camp, Mael stares into the crackling fire, the flames reflecting in his desolate eyes. A large cauldron bubbles ominously. He waits, his hope dwindling with each passing moment. A dark thought crosses his mind, his expression hardening. Can I truly trust that human? He wonders, his gaze turning cold and empty. He has despised baseless hope more than anyone else, and now he feels like a fool for believing again. He clenches his diseased hands, his mind spiraling into the depths of despair. The curse feels stronger than ever. He's tormented by the vision of a tribal effigy, a symbol of the people who cast his mother out to die. His mother's final words echo in his mind, a venomous curse. All of you, disappear. His hand trembles, a dark energy seeping from his skin. I don't want to see a single thing, he snarls. This curse, this dying flesh, this detestable tribe, he wants it all gone. He sees his mother on her deathbed, her face ravaged by the disease, whispering his name. Mael, you too. You must disappear as well. He grits his teeth. With a curse like that, he could never have hoped that the disease would be cured someday. So he began to read the books of the humans that the rock canines had hunted, seeking any sliver of knowledge. Using an incantation tome left by his mother, he learned the human language and accumulated knowledge, seeing a path to his own salvation. But his end was coming faster than his salvation. He had collapsed, spitting blood, his body failing him. All he needed was one mushroom sprouting on a cliff he could never reach. He was at a dead end. Was it really his best decision to beg for salvation from the first human he'd ever met? It felt like a fool's gambit. Suddenly, a sound from the entrance of his camp startles him. His eyes widen in shock. He turns, a flicker of fear and hope warring in his expression. Could that human have returned, or is it a member from the tribe? It's Kang Seol, looking utterly exhausted and covered in scrapes, but he's back. He pants, catching his breath. I came back with the mushroom, he says, revealing the glowing plant in his hand. This disease, it's worse than I thought. Mael is thunderstruck. He stares at the mushroom, the cure to all his suffering, held out to him. Overwhelmed with emotion, he drops to his knees. Yes, that's right. O Blessed One. Could I ask for your name, he asks, his head bowed in reverence. This stranger has just performed a miracle. Kang Seol gives him a small, knowing smile. I am Snowman. Mael introduces himself. I am Mael. It means the child of the star. For now, I will give you the help that you need right now, Kang Seol says, placing the mushroom in Mael's trembling hands. Tears stream down Mael's face as he clutches the cure, and I will never forget the help I've received from the snowman. Sometime later, Kang Seol sits by the fire outside the hut. A system message pops up. He's recovered from the rotten branch disease by proxy. Mael emerges, now completely healed, the lesions gone from his skin. The Forsaken One has recovered, the system announces. I will help you as promised, my benefactor, Mael declares, his voice strong and clear. Is there anything you want? Kang Seol lays out his plan. Since their party members are gone, a head-on assault is impossible. Is there no way for us to take them down from the inside? From the inside, huh? Mael ponders for a moment, then a fierce grin spreads across his face. All right. That night, they approach the heavily fortified entrance to the Rock Canine Village, its walls lined with massive tusks and armed guards. My benefactor, it's just as you said. Mael whispers, confirming their intel. The guards are on high alert. Hiding in the woods, Kang Seol watches them. Today's the best time to strike the Rock Canines, he declares. For it's the night of their harvest festival, a massive sacrificial offering to the Earth Dragon, Tancred, whom they serve. As part of the ritual, a massive beast is sacrificed, its blood pouring into a great stone cauldron. When it hits midnight, every single member of the tribe must drink the boiled animal blood from that cauldron. It is mandatory. Mael presents 2 vials to Kang Seol. Please use this and drug the contents of that cauldron. It will help in your plans. Kang Seol takes the potions, a flicker of concern in his eyes. Will you be okay? Mael just smiles grimly. Have you forgotten what I told you about Mother's last words? Of course, my disappearing would be something that happens much later, but I want to partially grant her wishes, at least. Revenge burns in his eyes. The quest updates. Adventure 2-1, Suppressed Revenge. He must weaken the tribe members by poisoning the cauldron before midnight. Mael hands over a book. What's this? Kang Seol asks. It's a parting gift, a token of trust. Mael explains that his dream is to become an archaeologist, to roam the world and record its endless secrets. O benefactor, he says, looking Kang Seol in the eye, his voice filled with a desperate plea. I wish for you to punish their barbarism through the star of intelligence you possess. This is his final request. Kang Seol gets a new achievement and title, Attractive Being. His ability to create rapport with an aide is increased by 100%. He examines the nostrums. The red one is a camouflage nostrum, allowing him to turn into an idiotic troll. The blue one is a madness nostrum, a potent poison. He uncorks the red potion, the camouflage one. There's no turning back now. The plan is in motion. He tilts the vial back and drinks the entire thing in one go, the foul liquid burning its way down his throat. He immediately chokes, spitting out a mist of red vapor as a searing pain rips through his body. His eyes bulge, every muscle in his body convulsing violently. The transformation is excruciating. He writhes on the ground in agony as his form begins to shift and change into something monstrous. The orc guards at a nearby post hear the commotion. One of them grunts, turning toward the sound. Oi, what are you doing there? Another one shouts, spotting a lone troll staggering out of the woods. You're not supposed to leave your post. The newly transformed Kang Seol stammers an apology, playing the part of an idiot. Sorry, I'll join them quickly. The guards just call him an idiot and wave him in. The system confirms the transformation. He's now an idiotic troll for a day, and he can use troll language. Alright, I've gotten past that issue. He has passed the watchtower. Now he just needs to find the cauldron and lace it with the madness nostrum. He makes his way up the mountain path, blending in with the other trolls heading to the ritual site. Mael's words ring in his ears. Since the rock canines are in such a dilemma, you'll be able to execute the work you planned out effortlessly. He reaches the ritual site, the air thick with chanting and the smell of blood. The massive cauldron sits in the center. He grips the blue vial. His moment is almost here. The disguised hero explains he wants to contribute some special blood he just collected. But the guard scoffs. The blood from the sacrifice will be enough. Get lost. But Kang Seol presses on, his eyes wide with feigned earnestness. This is the Whitehorn Arago's blood. It'll definitely be of help. The guard's eyes widen. Whitehorn Arago's blood? He grabs the vial, his tone changing instantly. Yes, so could you please? Thank you. Kang Seol bows his head humbly as the guard promises to convey the offering. This is the perfect bait, a lure they can't possibly resist. He knows that the rock canines believe that offering valuables to their god, Tancred, will grant them her blessing, and this is a top-tier offering. As expected, the guard hurries over to his superior, kneeling respectfully. Sir Magada, there's a guy who wanted to offer the blood of the Whitehorn Arago. Enthroned on a seat of bone and wood sits Magada, the Earth Shaman, a monstrous figure with fiery red hair. He takes the vial, inspecting it. His scarred face creases in concentration as he sniffs the contents, his sharp eyes scanning the liquid. A low hum escapes his lips. It's the real thing, Magada grunts, his decision made. He gestures to the cauldron. Put it in. The guard obeys without question. They have no idea. The madness nostrum, perfectly camouflaged by Mael, is now mixed into the ritual brew, ready to unleash hell upon the tribe. Kang Seol watches from the shadows, a grim satisfaction on his face. He remembers Mael's words. He, Forsaken One, wasn't given the heroic rank for nothing. The moment arrives. Midnight is closing in. Magada stands before his tribe, raising a ceremonial horn. Now, he bellows, everybody, raise your glasses. The tribe roars in approval, lifting their cups filled with the poisoned blood. Everything is given to us by Earth's grace, Magada proclaims. Flesh, blood, and even plunder. Drink up, he commands, and the trolls eagerly obey, guzzling down the tainted liquid, completely unaware of the poison coursing into their veins. Leave behind nothing from this, Magada roars. And that is also our rock canine's way. The entire tribe erupts in a deafening cry. O Lord Tancred! They scream to the heavens, their devotion absolute, their doom sealed. The madness is about to begin. As the ritual reaches its peak, Kang Seol scans the crowd. All the trolls here are from the Rock Canine tribe, which means the leaders must be here too. And there they are. The 5 chieftains, the so-called brothers, sit observing the festivities, looking every bit the part of powerful rulers. His eyes lock onto one in particular. Mael had warned him about this one, a legendary figure who holds the tribe together. The one who wiped out the previous generation of shamans all by himself. The troll born with the power of the mountains, the legendary Jamad. As the festival winds down, the poison begins its work. The trolls, their minds clouded by the potion, start to disperse. They all drank it. Every last one of them consumed the blood mixed with the potion of madness, their fates now intertwined with Kang Seol's plan. And of course, the 5 leaders have drunk it as well. Phase 1 is complete. That should be enough to sow chaos. Kang Seol thinks to himself, now, as long as there's no obstacle to my plan. He watches the trolls stumble away, their minds slowly unraveling. The Rock Canine tribe will disappear. This is not just revenge for Mael, it is the complete annihilation of a threat. With the tribe distracted, he slips away into the woods, his expression cold and determined. He has finally found it. The treasury of the Rock Canine tribe. 2 guards stand watch, but they won't be a problem for long, not anymore. Suddenly, the guards clutch their heads, groaning in agony. What's going on? One gasps, his eyes turning a bloodshot red. A primal scream rips from his throat as the madness takes hold. He lunges at his comrade, claws outstretched, his only thought to kill. Die! Die! He shrieks, his mind completely broken by the potion. The other guard can only watch in horror before being torn apart. He screams to pay favor to their god, Lancred, his mind a complete mess. The poison is working even better than he had hoped. As the guards tear each other to pieces, a flash of blue energy cuts through the night. Kaluna appears, her blade already dripping with orc blood. Kang Seol watches as the elf warrior dispatches a frenzied troll with effortless grace. Just as he thought, they aren't a match for Kaluna when weakened. We're going in, Kang Seol states, his troll form stepping out of the shadows. Even if Kaluna isn't at her original power, she's strong enough for this. Inside the treasury's antechamber, they find supplies and chests, but their target is deeper within, behind a heavily fortified door. A lone figure guards the final entrance. The rock canine treasure keeper, a hulking brute with an axe, blocks their path. He senses their presence, his body trembling. Who's there? He stammers, feeling the poison take hold. Go away! It's already too late! He feels something wrong with his body and tries to call for Jamad, but Kaluna gives him no time. She emerges from the shadows like a phantom. The keeper roars, bringing his massive axe down, but Kaluna is a blur of motion, her power flaring with a dangerous light. She meets his strike head on, the clash of steel on steel echoing through the chamber. The brute is strong, but he's facing a true warrior. Who are you? He screams, his eyes wide with terror as he stares into Kaluna's cold, glowing gaze. Kaluna doesn't answer. She parries his blow with blinding speed, creating an opening in his clumsy defense. This is over. The keeper can only gasp as her glowing blade arcs towards him, a silent promise of death he cannot escape. With a final, decisive strike, Kaluna's sword sinks deep into his flesh, ending his life in an instant. Kang Seol steps forward. Kaluna acknowledges his presence. He's certainly powerful, but I can also tell that he's become much weaker than he originally was. If it was before, he would have been killed in an instant. But Kang Seol feels no pity. He crouches by the corpse, his goal in sight. A system notification confirms the kill. He has eliminated the keeper and obtained the rock key. This is what he came for. He recalls the history of this place. All the bloodshed was for a single item, the Stone Fist, a legendary gauntlet created from the scales of an earth dragon. The gauntlet grants the power to destroy boulders and immense spell power, but it brought nothing but war and greed to the Rock Canine tribe. To stop the internal conflict, the ancient shamans gathered the leaders of the 5 factions and bound them with the curse of the Brotherhood. That's their setting, Kang Seol muses. The adventure is called 5 Amicable Brothers, but in reality, they're a pack of wolves who want to kill each other. Because of that, his choice is simple. He will not take the Stone Fist itself, but only the Rock Key. When the tribe descends into chaos from the potion, the 5 brothers will definitely come to check on the treasury. None of them can let the Stone Fist fall into the hands of the other brothers. They'll come running, driven by paranoia and greed. As if on cue, one of the leaders arrives, his face a mask of fury. He stares at the locked door and barks a single command: destroy it. A massive, fiery explosion rips through the treasury entrance, shattering the stone and chains into nothingness. The leaders barge in through the smoke and dust, their eyes frantically searching for their prize. But they are met with a shocking sight. The Stone Fist is still there? One of them gasps. The gauntlets rest on their pedestal, untouched and glowing with power. The lead chieftain's jaw clenches, his massive tusks grinding together in pure rage. He knows what this means. Who was it? He roars. There must be an interloper amongst you. The accusations fly instantly. I'm sure it's Jamad behind all this. Jamad just smirks, his red eyes glinting with amusement. You fool. Have you forgotten that our ancestors have bound us with the curse of the Brotherhood? The accuser recoils. He's right. They can't kill one another. For now, they confirm the Stone Fist is safe and decide to subdue the ongoing ruckus. Jamad knows his ambitious brothers have failed to frame him, but he warns them, if they act rashly, they will bring ruin to the entire tribe. The red-haired leader orders the remaining sane trolls to guard the broken entrance until a new door is built. If anyone tries to take the Stone Fist, kill them. Jamad watches them go, his expression unreadable, but he is not the one who needs to worry. The real threat is still lurking. Back in the chamber, Magata is trying to suppress the madness when he notices something. His abode is completely wrecked. His guards are dead. This wasn't just a random rampage. This was a targeted attack. He struggles to his feet, trying to calm the poison in his veins. But then he senses a presence behind him. "Who's there?" he growls, whipping around to face the darkness of a nearby cave entrance. A figure emerges from the shadows, and the system alerts Kang Seol. Earth Shaman Magata has figured out your identity. The camouflage potion has worn off. "I didn't think I'd get caught," Kang Seol thinks, a wry smile on his face. Well, I guess it was obvious. He knew he couldn't fool a shaman forever. He had to succeed in destroying the entrance and, more importantly, planting a seed of doubt in the hearts of the brothers. And he did. Magata's eyes burn with red-hot fury. "So it was you." The pieces click into place. The poison, the chaos, all of it. "You bastard!" he screams, his body contorting with rage. "You were the one that caused disorder within the tribe, human." Kang Seol simply raises his staff, his expression impassive. He turns to the shadows beside him and gives a single cold command. "Kaluna, kill him." In a brilliant flash of blue energy, Kaluna appears, her sword drawn. The night sky cracks open above them. The ground shatters as Magata lands, his body a twisted wreck from Kaluna's initial assault. He coughs up blood, unable to move. He's completely broken, his limbs twisted at unnatural angles as he writhes on the broken stone, choking on his own blood. The shaman can only gurgle, his life fading fast. With his last breath, he glares at Kaluna, spitting a curse. "You demon-like bastard!" Kaluna raises her sword, channeling her power. Moonlight striking heavens, first stage, crescent moon. A wave of pure energy engulfs the shaman. As he dies, Magata places a grudge curse on Snowman, Kang Seol's alias. A debuff of lethargy will now plague him for a week. A system notification confirms it. Experience is credited. You have taken out the Shaman of Earth, Magata. The first brother has fallen. So this is the grudge curse, a debuff that should be divided among the entire party. But since it's just him and Kaluna, he takes the full brunt. "That's why I have decided to kill you first, Magata." He targeted the weakest of the 5 brothers to test the curse's effects. Magata's threat of his brother's revenge is meaningless. "Well," Kang Seol smirks, igniting a torch, "those guys will only get busier now." He sets the entire area ablaze. The flames roar to life, consuming the camp and spreading chaos even further. The trolls scream in terror. They shriek, "Die! Die!" killing each other in the inferno. The madness has reached its peak. Utter pandemonium has been unleashed. "This is bad. The leader's quarters are on fire," one cries out. "Sir Magata! What happened to Sir Magata?" But there will be no answer. Miles away, deep within a cavern, the remaining 4 leaders gather for the Rock Canine's tribe convention, but it is not a peaceful meeting. 3 of the brothers stride purposefully down the stone path, their intent clear. They are here for blood. "Jahamad!" they roar in unison. "We've come here knowing you are here, Jamad. Show yourself now." From the shadows, the white-haired troll turns, his massive tusk gleaming in the dim light. His voice is a low rumble. "So you're here, brothers." The air crackles with tension. This is the confrontation Kang Seol had orchestrated from the very beginning. The chat window lights up with viewers reacting to the sight of Kang Seol calmly preparing a meal. Didn't this guy make that place a sea of fire today? He's cooking as if nothing happened. He's a psycho. Another comments. But this isn't about enjoyment. This is preparation. He pulls out a special ingredient, the Seed of the Moon, a rare item that can be ingested through magic, though its effects are unknown. The Seed of the Moon has 2 main effects, a permanent stat increase or the acquisition of a volatile, temporary ability. In any other situation, he would have chosen the permanent stat increase, but that's not the case now. He needs the volatile ability for the final battle. The most common way to consume it is through cooking. He deftly chops and stirs, his movements precise and practiced. The dish is complete. The system confirms his cooking skill has increased, and more importantly, his power will temporarily increase after eating. He takes a bite. It's a little bland, but just finding a normal house to rest in this chaos is a victory in itself. He finishes the meal, the empty bowl clattering on the ground. A system notification confirms he's had a great meal. He is now ready. Looking out through a hole in the roof, he sees the distant glow of the tribe's fires. "I'm going to finish the business." Back in the cavern, the brothers confront Jamad. You'd better choose your words carefully, Jamad. We are precious of our answer, truthfully. Are you the one who took the opportunity of the chaos and killed Magada? One of them accuses, pointing a clawed finger at him. Jamad stands impassively, his powerful physique radiating confidence. He simply says, so Magada is dead. Alright, I see. He looks past them, a knowing look in his eyes. I'm sure an unknown enemy has hidden inside among the tribe. He pieces it together instantly. The madness was caused by the blood they all drank. A drug was mixed in. Then, a sneak attack on the treasure house to kill the keeper and an attempt to take the stone fist, followed by the murder of Magada. But his brothers are too greedy and weak to have come up with such a bold plan. It has to be an outsider. But one of the brothers lunges forward, screaming in a rage. Stone fist! This bastard took the stone fist. He's hallucinating from the poison. So it was you who planned this. The other one shrieks, his mind lost to madness. You traitor of the tribe! Jamad raises a hand, his own stone fist glowing with power. His voice cuts through their insane ranting. Yes, that's right, everything was done by me. A shaman chants, you have no match for your arrogance, Jamad. He and another warrior charge forward, weapons raised. Kill Jamad! Jamad's muscles tense, the ground around him cracking under the sheer pressure of his power. He lets out a deafening roar. He unleashes a devastating shockwave, sending rock and debris flying in all directions as his power surges. The attack slams into one of the charging brothers, sending him flying like a ragdoll. Such strength. It's monstrous. The warrior, Miam, is impaled on jagged rocks, his body broken. Miam, no! His companion screams in horror. As Miam dies, he leaves a grudge on Jamad, a lung disease. The spell casting time is increased, and the recoil from witchcraft becomes stronger. Jamad scoffs. I understand why you guys are targeting me. You've been waiting for this chance to aim for the position of tribal chief. The last shaman screams, how much longer do you think you can rely on the power of the stone fist? He charges, his staff glowing. Jamad's body begins to transform, covered in a thick layer of rock armor. He will meet this challenge head on. The shaman's magic spears rain down upon him, but they shatter harmlessly against his new, impenetrable defense. The shaman can only stare in disbelief as Jamad closes the distance in an instant, his fist crackling with energy. He smashes his fist into the shaman's chest, the impact turning bone to dust. A guttural scream escapes the shaman's lips. However, that blood will be the blood of the worthless ones. Jamad growls, ending the shaman's life and leaving a new grudge upon himself. He stands over the corpse of his last brother, panting, the adrenaline of battle coursing through him. It is done. Kang Seol stands over the body of Magada. With one brother dead, the curse of brotherhood that prevented them from killing each other is now broken. Jamad killed his brothers, those who had aimed to take his life. The system confirms his actions. The path is now clear. That's right, Jamad. Kang Seol whispers to himself, a cold, calculating smile on his face. Start the civil war. Destroy your own tribe from within. 3 leaders emerge from the cave. Jamad, they yell. We know you are here. They found him. Jamad turns, a grim look on his face. So you're here, brothers. The final act is about to begin. Stone Fist! This bastard took the Stone Fist! The other shouts, consumed by madness. He thinks Jamad planned all of this. You traitor! Jamad accepts their challenge, raising his gauntlet. Yes, everything was done by me. He will end this now. The shaman charges, unleashing his magic. Kill Jamad! The bastard is trying to swallow up the tribe. They are blind to the true enemy. Jamad roars, unleashing his own power. The ground shatters as he prepares to annihilate what's left of his kin. The tribe will devour itself. He pants heavily, his blood-soaked fist still clenched over the corpse of his brother. These curses, they are infuriating. But despite the immense pain, his red eyes burn with an unyielding, furious resolve, refusing to break. Suddenly, his head snaps up as a figure appears at the cave's entrance. Jamad roars out into the darkness. Who's there? The figure, the blue-haired warrior, Kaluna, stands ready, her blade gleaming with a faint, chilling light as she prepares for battle. Jamad glares, his mind racing as he connects the dots, the chaos, the timing. It all makes sense now. Just then, Kang Seol steps out from behind her, a smug, knowing smile on his face. He mocks the fallen chief. You shouldn't fight among your own brothers. Kang Seol's condescending words hang in the air, a cruel twist of the knife in the fresh wound of Jamad's betrayal. The orc's eyes widen in horrified realization. "So it's you," he growls, his voice thick with hatred. "The one who plotted all of this." As he speaks, a notification appears. The moonlight from the cave entrance is empowering Kaluna, her aura flaring with cold, blue energy. Jamaad understands now. "Yeah," he snarls, "those stupid brothers wouldn't do something like that. They were merely pawns in a much darker game." His fury erupts and he smashes his fist into the ground, the very stone cracking under the force of his rage. He calls Kang Seol a devil and demands to know his true purpose. "Do you want the mountain?" Kang Seol simply looks on, his silence a damning confession. Fueled by absolute rage, Jamaad roars a challenge to the heavens. "Then come and take it." And with that, the final battle begins. Kaluna surges forward, her blue sword clashing against Jamaad's monstrous flaming fist in a blinding explosion of power. The shockwave sends debris flying as Jamaad pours every ounce of his remaining strength into his attack. He will not let these outsiders desecrate his home. The ground shatters under their feet, the two warriors locked in a desperate struggle, a whirlwind of rock and light. Jamaad's flaming gauntlet burns with intensity, pushing back against the chilling power of Kaluna's enchanted blade. The cave itself seems to groan under the strain. Kaluna grits her teeth, her sword glowing brighter as she channels the moonlight, slashing through the air with blinding speed. She unleashes a torrent of strikes, each one aimed to exploit the weaknesses created by Jamaad's curses, but the chieftain is a beast of pure will. Watching from a safe distance, Kang Seol analyzes the fight with a cold, calculating gaze. "They're evenly matched," he notes. He knows Jamaad has his ultimate weapon, the Stone Fist, but he's also exhausted from fighting his brothers. At this rate, Kaluna should be able to dismantle him. Kaluna presses her advantage, her blade a blur of blue light as she drives Jamaad back step by agonizing step. But Jamaad is far from finished. He glares at her, his voice a low growl. "You think that's what it takes to take over the mountain?" This defiance, it surprises Kang Seol. Jamaad is withstanding an onslaught that should have already broken him. Something is wrong. Their weapons lock once more, a brilliant flash of energy illuminating the cavern as their raw power collides in a devastating stalemate. Kaluna puts all her weight into a downward slash, but Jamaad catches it, the impact sending tremors through the ground. He roars, pushing her back. Kaluna slides backward, muttering, "Damn it." The toll of using her shadow summons is catching up to her, her bones aching with a deep, searing pain. She questions if she can even fight Jamaad with only 50% of her strength. This is becoming far more dangerous than she anticipated. Jamaad sees her hesitation and surges forward, his flaming fist ready to end this. He is the mountain, and he will not be moved. "Jamaad is the mountain," he bellows, his voice echoing with primal power. The entire world, he declares, is under his feet. He slams his fist into the ground, unleashing a wave of power that rocks the entire cave, determined to crush these invaders. Kaluna stands firm, her sword held high, ready to meet the coming storm. The air crackles with untamed energy. Just then, Kang, Seol, and Kaluna appear side by side, united against the monstrous chieftain. They know they need to find the right timing, a single opening to reverse the situation. And the system provides it. A notification flashes. Jamaad is about to create an earthquake. This is their chance. With a guttural roar, Jamaad channels all his power into the ground, preparing to bring the entire mountain down on their heads. A monstrous shockwave erupts from him, shattering the stone around him as he unleashes his cataclysmic attack. The ground splits and heaves, massive chunks of rock flying through the air like cannonballs. It's an attack meant to annihilate, not just defeat. Kaluna reacts instantly, her sword a flash of blue as she slices through the incoming debris, defending herself from the onslaught. She pushes forward through the chaos, closing the distance as Jamaad raises his fist for another, more powerful blow. Their weapons meet in a thunderous explosion of force, Kaluna's blade barely holding against the sheer brute power of the stone fist. Kang Seol watches intently, a deep frown on his face. Something's off. Normally, the Stone Fist has a powerful rebound effect that damages the user. Jamaad should be in tatters from the recoil by now. But he looks completely unscathed. In fact, he seems stronger. Kang Seol's mind races. Did he miss something? Was there a variable in his calculations that he failed to account for? Jamaad roars, his body crackling with a new fiery energy. He's overflowing with power. The horrifying truth dawns on Kang Seol. Instead of making Jamad weaker, using the Stone Fist is giving him more power. "I will crush you, invaders," Jamad screams, lunging forward with unstoppable momentum, his fist burning like a meteor. How is this possible? Kang Seol thinks frantically. Jamad should be out of magic power by now. This must mean it's undeniable. The Stone Fist, their tribe's sacred treasure, has evolved. It's transformed into the Mountain Fist. He remembers a small, obscure entry in a guidebook. When the Stone Fist is filled with the spirit of the earth, it evolves. An Easter egg, a variable that has now become terrifyingly real. Jamad himself is confused. He's used the same attack method for 17 years. It should be preventing variables, not creating them. Kang Seol pieces it together. The plan was for the expelled person himself to cause confusion, and the first brother would kill the others. But this is their first time fighting Jamad. The order of the 5 brothers was always random. Then, does that mean Jamad himself is the variable? A completely unforeseen element, Kang Seol screams, "Kaluna, be careful!" But it's too late. The shockwave of Jamad's empowered attack slams into them, sending both Kang Seol and Kaluna flying. Kang Seol hits the wall hard, coughing up blood as his staff clatters to the ground. The force is overwhelming. Jamad stands amidst the rubble, his fists blazing with the power of the mountain itself, a true demigod of destruction. As Kang Seol lies dazed on the ground, a memory flashes through his mind, a memory from his past life. His younger self, standing under a beautiful starry sky, he remembers someone calling him Snowman, telling him to run away. This memory, it's from a long time ago, back when he was a party leader, a different kind of leader. His party had faced an impossibly strong monster, and by mistake, he had put his pieces, his comrades, in mortal danger. One of his masked associates urged him to cut their losses. "We can't beat this. Let's just sacrifice some pieces and save what we can." But he refused. "I'm not going to run away," he declared. "We all worked too hard and came this far." He wouldn't abandon them. The other man didn't understand. "But they're all just pieces. We can always get new ones." He couldn't grasp Snowman's loyalty. "No," Snowman replied, his voice firm. "I wasn't talking about the players. I was talking about the pawns. They worked so hard. How can we just abandon them?" Other observers watched from a command center, calling his decision reckless. Why risk everything for mere pawns? They watched the battle unfold on a holographic map, wondering if this boy could possibly pull off a miracle. The odds were stacked against him. He knew that pieces that don't fight and pieces that run away are always the first to die. They couldn't win through combat, and they couldn't win by running. Still, he believed there was a way. A third option. A masked woman tells him to make his decision. The reason his pieces could produce miracles was because whenever there was a crisis, he chose to confront it head on. He never ran. He gives the order, his voice ringing with desperate hope. Number 3, flail your sword at Giant Zur's ankles. A gamble, a low probability play. The masked man rolls a glowing die, its fate uncertain. The dice has been rolled, and the fate of his comrades rests on this single, desperate act. Snapping back to the present, Kang Seol slams the butt of his staff into the ground, steadying himself. He's been out for too long. Kaluna has been fighting alone, pushing herself to the absolute limit. A system notification flashes she's entering the full moon phase. This is it. The timing is now. Jamad roars, calling him a devil, preparing to finish this. But Kang Seol grits his teeth, his eyes blazing with power. It's not over yet. He grips his staff, pouring his own energy into it. He is activating the full moon stage's volatile ability. He is forcing the power up, pushing Kaluna's abilities beyond their natural limits, no matter the cost to himself. A magic circle materializes beneath Kaluna's feet, a glowing symbol of the full moon, bathing the entire cavern in an ethereal blue light. The play begins on the stage of the moon, and the protagonist is the Moonlight Knight, Kaluna. Jamad charges forward, a juggernaut of stone and fire, ready to smash this new threat to pieces. But Kaluna meets his gaze, her power surging. She floats into the air, her entire body radiating an incredible, suffocating pressure. She raises her sword high above her head. The moonlight is now full. She commands the beast before her, "Be humble." From the ground, Kang Seol watches, a manic grin on his face. "Don't lose, Kaluna," he screams, pouring everything he has into this final gambit. Kaluna's eyes are cold, focused. Now, she has enough stats. Her full moon slash is improved, becoming the complete moonlight slash. She brings her blade down, unleashing a torrent of pure, condensed moonlight, an attack so powerful it carves a trench in the very ground. The beam of energy slices through the air, an unstoppable force of celestial judgment aimed directly at the mountain's heart. The attack connects with an earth-shattering explosion, a blinding flash of white and blue that consumes everything in its path. The backlash of power slams into Kang Seol, sending him tumbling backward as he cries out in agony. The cost of this power is immense. When the dust settles, the cavern is silent. The once mighty Rock Canine tribe's banner lies torn and broken on the ground. Jamad is on his knees, bloodied and defeated, gasping for air. His body is covered in wounds, his strength finally gone. He coughs, struggling to his feet, his massive frame trembling from the exertion and the catastrophic damage he sustained. But even in defeat, his eyes find Kang Seol. He looks not with hatred, but with a strange, weary acceptance. Kang Seol stands before him, staff in hand, a silent victor. He calls him by his title, Shadow Summoner. Jamad collapses, reaching out a hand, his voice a ragged whisper. Take me. He begs to be taken. I cannot end here, he gasps. He has one final duty to his tribe, to his mountain. At that moment, Kaluna appears, her sword at his throat, ready to deliver the final blow. But Kang Seol stops her. Jamad has left a grudge on Snowman, but it's not a curse of hatred, it is a request, a pact. The system confirms it. All 5 of the Rock Canine brothers have died. Snowman is freed from all grudges. He has taken out the mountain shaman Jamad. The system explodes with notifications. The viewers are in an uproar. He really did it. He defeated them. He gets the achievement, Bad Brothers. More titles rain down. The Demon That Came at Dawn, Bone Athletics, Alienator, and Single Child. The rewards are insane. From midnight to sunrise, all his stats will increase. His charisma increases, and with no siblings, his stats increase when he's alone. Kaluna too receives a massive boost. Kang Seol clenches his fist. Usually, monsters hate becoming shadow summons. It's an act of being forced from death to serve the one who killed you. But Jamad, he asked for it. He chose this path. He chose to serve Kang Seol. Kang Seol extends his hand. He has no choice. If he doesn't reap him here, this is only a half success. He gives the command, serve. Dark energy flows from Kang Seol's hand into Jamad's body, binding his soul to his new master. Jamad, now a shadow, informs Kang Seol that there is something he must do first. He must gather his brother's corpses. He arranges the 4 bodies in a row. Though they fought, though they tried to kill him, they are still his kin. He sits before them, a dark, shadowy aura emanating from his body as he begins a final, solemn ritual. A vortex of spiritual energy erupts from the corpses. Jamad uses witchcraft absorption, consuming the remnant power of his fallen brothers. Kang Seol understands now. This is a talent that takes away a dead shaman's power. Just what an irregular would do. Jamad absorbs more and more power, his own strength growing with each brother he consumes. 40% of their original strength is now his. At least we were together at our death, Jamad's shadow whispers. This mountain will hold you guys in me. His ritual complete, his stats are updated. He is now Tyrant Jamad, a heroic rank, level 3 shadow summon. A plume of dark smoke rises from the peak of Sharpstone Mountain, a signal to the entire world that a power has fallen. Panic spreads among the remaining Rock Canines. It's over, run away, Jamad is dead, all the brothers are dead. The mountain is freed, the secret labyrinths within are now opened. A new era has begun. News spreads like wildfire across the continent of Pandaea. Snowman has brought about a revolution, his name echoing among merchants and travelers. The Freedom City of Kongori is freed from the orc threat. Its citizens will forever remember the name of Snowman. Pandaea's entire power structure shifts. New adventures and quests are unlocked for all players, all thanks to one man's actions. Kang Seol smiles to himself. A world view that changes based on a player's achievements. This is why this game is never boring. And now for the last and best reward. The Rock Canine's holy object. A massive ornate chest materializes before him. His level increases, he obtains stat points, a stone robe, the root of spirit, and a fortune in gold and silver. And most importantly, he obtains the Mountain Fist. The viewers go wild. He got the holy object as a drop. The Mountain Fist itself. This is a scam. It's completely unfair. Kang Seol immediately equips the powerful new gauntlet on his shadow summon, Tyrant Jamad, making him even more monstrous. He then dons the stone robe, a rare grade item that boosts his wisdom and willpower, making him look like a seasoned pro. He examines the final item, the Root of Spirit. He'll have to cook it later to find out its effect. All things considered, he thinks, his lips curling into a satisfied smile. These are some pretty good rewards. Suddenly his vision blurs. His feet touch solid ground, but it's not the mountain. He's in a paved courtyard, surrounded by other people, all looking just as confused as he is. He's surrounded by Koreans. People are crying out for their families, completely bewildered. What is this space? He glances at a posted list, some sort of ranking, and then he spots it. R ranking. The crowd murmurs, trying to decipher the lists. A large, tattooed man shouts, demanding to know who the hell has 320,000 points. He figures that person must know what's going on here.